If you are just joining us, a pregnant woman crawled into a Chicago hospital bleeding. Her billionaire husband had been destroying her mother's political career from inside their marriage, and the doctor who saved her life is now paying the price for it. This is part 2. The letter arrives on a Tuesday morning, and by Tuesday afternoon, Dr. Kojo Ellison's name is being removed from the staff directory. Not quietly, not with the decency of a private conversation or a closed-door meeting. His name is physically crossed off the board at the nurses' station with a black marker while 2 nurses watch and say nothing. His office key stops working at 2:47 p.m. His patient files are transferred without notice. When he tries to badge into the trauma wing, the reader flashes red and holds red, and the orderly standing nearby pretends he does not see it. Kojo stands in that hallway for 4 seconds. He breathes in. He breathes out. Then he turns and walks to the elevator like a man who has done nothing wrong, because he has done nothing wrong, and he refuses to let this building watch him break. The letter is from the hospital board. Formal, 3 pages. The language is careful and bloodless the way legal language always is when someone powerful is behind it. Words like conduct inconsistency and protocol deviation and patient boundary concern. Not one of those words mentions Neria Cole. Not one of those words mentions Mercer Duval. But Kojo reads every line and hears one name underneath all of it. Mercer Duval paid for this hospital's East Wing expansion. His name is on the donor plaque near the main entrance. And now, 6 days after Kojo called the governor's private line and sat in a conference room and watched Mercer be silenced by his own lawyer, the hospital is moving to end Dr. Kojo Ellison's career. This is how men like Mercer fight, not with fists, with paperwork. Hi viewers, if you have ever done the right thing and watched the wrong people come for you because of it, subscribe right now and do not move, because this story is not done and neither is this man. Kojo sits in his car in the hospital parking garage. Engine off, both hands on the wheel. His phone buzzes on the passenger seat. Unknown number, he picks it up. The message reads, "You should have stayed out of it. There is still time to walk away." He reads it twice. He sets the phone face down on the seat. He starts the engine. He does not walk away. Neria is not at Mercer's penthouse. She is not at her mother's residence. She is in a quiet apartment arranged through the governor's office, 3rd floor, security desk downstairs, a doorman who checks every name against a list. The baby is 6 days old. She sleeps in short bursts, and in the silence between them, Neria sits by the window and stares at the city and thinks about Kojo. The text from Donna arrives at 8 a.m. It is a photograph of the nurse's station board. His name. A thick black line through it, clean, deliberate, like he never existed there at all. Neria sets the baby in the bassinet and calls her mother. Imani picks up on the second ring. Her voice is the voice she uses when she is managing something steady, measured, no edges showing. "I already know," Imani says. "Then why is nobody stopping it?" A pause, short. But Neria has spent her whole life reading her mother's silences, and this one carries weight she does not like. Mercer's legal team filed a complaint with the state medical board this morning, Imani says. They are claiming Kojo violated your medical privacy when he called me. They are framing my arrival at the hospital as a HIPAA violation that he orchestrated. Neria's hand tightens around the phone until her knuckles ache. That is a lie. It is a carefully built lie. And if it holds, Kojo does not just lose this job, he loses his license. Everything he worked for, gone. The baby stirs. Neria looks at her, 6 days old, small, breathing, completely unaware of the cost her arrival has placed on the people who protected her mother. "He saved my life," Neria says, low, final. I am not going to let them take his. I know someone, Imani says. A medical attorney. She has beaten the state board before. But Neria, if we push back on this, Mercer will use everything he has left. Good, Neria says. Let him show us what he has left. Her mother is quiet for a moment. Then, are you sure you are ready for this? Neria looks at the window, at the city, at the street 3 floors below where she knows exactly what it costs to walk through a Chicago night alone and bleeding and still keep moving. I have been ready, she says, since the night I crawled through those doors. Mercer Duval is not in Chicago. His assistant tells investigators he is in New York for business meetings. His lawyer tells the press he is cooperating fully. His communications team releases a statement at 9 a.m. calling the allegations against him politically motivated, the work of a sitting governor who turned her daughter's medical emergency into a campaign moment. By noon, that statement has 300,000 views. Half the comments call Mercer a predator. The other half call Imani a cold political operator who exploited her own child. That split is not organic. It is manufactured. Someone paid to seed both sides because a divided audience is a distracted one, and a distracted audience stops asking the one question that matters. Where is Mercer right now, and what is he doing? What he is doing is sitting in a hotel suite on the 42nd floor in Midtown Manhattan with 2 lawyers, a forensic data consultant, and a woman named Priya Shen, who runs the most aggressive opposition research operation in the country. He is building the move that ends this. The logic is clean. If Kojo loses his medical license on the HIPAA complaint, he becomes a discredited witness. Everything he saw, the coat, the supply room, the camera footage, gets filtered through the lens of a doctor who violated patient privacy and was fired for it. The evidence in Neria's email draft folder is certified and real, but evidence without credible witnesses is just paper. Mercer is not trying to destroy the truth. He is trying to make it look complicated. Complicated truth exhausts people, and exhausted people look away. Priya Shen opens a folder and slides it across the table. Mercer looks at the photographs inside. His expression does not change. Not guilt, not hesitation. Calculation, pure and cold, the look of a man deciding how much damage he is willing to authorize. When did you get these? He asks. 3 days ago, she says. He closes the folder. He taps it once with 2 fingers. Use them, he says. He does not mention that the photographs were taken inside Neria's home. Inside the apartment, the governor's office arranged to keep her safe. Someone had been inside. Someone had been watching. The photographs go online at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. They show Kojo and Neria in what appears to be a private meeting in a hospital corridor, shot from a distance, grainy, cropped to remove all context. The timestamp on every image has been altered to place the meeting the night before Neria escaped the penthouse. The implication is that the doctor and the patient knew each other before she ever arrived bleeding on that floor, that the whole thing was coordinated, that nothing about that night was real. It is false. Every pixel of it is engineered, and it spreads faster than any truth ever moves. By 7 a.m., Kojo has 49 missed calls. By 8 a.m., 2 local stations are running the images under the word exclusive. By 9 a.m., a reporter is posted outside Neria's building with a camera pointed at the entrance. Donna calls Kojo at 7:15. She is crying and trying not to. They are saying you planned this with her, that you knew her before. Kojo, there are people in this building right now who believe it. He is already driving, not away toward. Governor Imani Cole's Chicago field office sits on the 14th floor of a building on Michigan Avenue. Kojo walks through the front entrance, gives his name to the receptionist, and stands in the waiting area with his coat still on. He does not sit. He does not check his phone. He stands with both feet on the floor and waits, and 3 minutes later Imani's chief of staff opens a side door and waves him through. Imani is at her desk. She looks at him the way she looks at every serious problem, directly, no softness, no cruelty either. "I saw the photographs," she says. "They are altered." "I know. We have until 5 p.m. to prove it before the evening segment runs." Kojo puts his phone on her desk. On the screen is a message from the hospital's overnight security supervisor, the man who pulled the original coat footage. He did not delete the camera timestamp files when hospital administration asked him to 3 days ago. He told them he had. He lied. The raw data is on a personal drive at his home, and he is ready to hand it over right now. Imani looks at the message. She picks up her own phone without hesitating. "Get me Marcus Webb," she says to her chief of staff. "Forensic media team. Tell them 5 p.m. is the deadline and I need them working right now." She looks back at Kojo. Just for a moment the press conference voice goes quiet and something more human comes through. "You did not have to come here," she says. "Your daughter walked 3 blocks barefoot in the cold to tell the truth," Kojo says. "I can manage 14 floors." The forensic team confirms the timestamp alteration by 1 p.m. By 2 p.m., they have traced the photograph upload to a server registered under a shell company connected directly to Priya Shen's firm. By 3 p.m., Marcus Webb files an emergency motion, citing evidence tampering and defamation, as part of the active investigation into Mercer Duval. At 3:47 p.m., both news stations pull the story from their websites. No correction, no apology. They simply remove it the way people remove things when they realize the ground beneath them has just shifted. Mercer's lawyer calls Imani's office at 4 p.m. The conversation is 6 minutes long. When Imani puts the phone down, she is very still. Her chief of staff watches her from the doorway and waits. "He wants a deal," she says. "What kind of deal?" He drops the HIPAA complaint against Kojo, pulls the smear campaign materials, agrees to a financial settlement with Neria. She pauses. In exchange, the state investigation closes with no criminal referral, no public record. He walks away clean. The room holds its breath. "He wants to buy his way out," her chief of staff says quietly. "He always has," Imani says. She stands. She puts on her coat. "Tell Marcus we are not interested in quiet." If you have ever watched someone try to pay their way out of what they did to another person, and you needed someone to say no, drop the word justice in the comments right now. Because that is exactly what is about to happen. Neria finds out about the deal offer at 5 p.m. when her mother calls. She is feeding the baby. The apartment is warm. The late afternoon light through the window is soft gray, the kind of light that makes everything look temporarily peaceful, and for 30 seconds before her mother speaks, Neria lets herself exist inside that peace. Then Imani tells her about the deal. Neria does not speak right away. She lifts the baby to her shoulder, pats her back, feels that small warm weight, that breathing, living weight, and thinks about every woman who will come after her. The ones who will marry a man exactly like Mercer and have no governor for a mother, no doctor willing to lose his career for them, no emergency contact card left over from a life before the control started. The ones who will have nothing but silence, and the private knowledge that something is very wrong and nowhere to put it. She thinks about what it means to let Mercer write a check and walk away, and call it resolved. "Mama," she says. "I already told them no," Imani says. Neria closes her eyes. When she opens them, the city is still there outside the window, and she is still standing in it, and her daughter is still breathing against her shoulder. "I know," she says. But if we push for the criminal referral, he will come at you again. At the baby. At Kojo. He is not finished and he still has resources. I know what kind of man he is, Neria says. I lived inside that man's plan for 3 years. She puts the baby down gently. She walks to the window and looks at Chicago, the same streets she crossed barefoot and bleeding not 2 weeks ago, and something settles in her chest that is not rage and not fear. It is clarity. The kind that only comes after you have already survived the worst version of something and discovered you are still standing. Tell Marcus to file the referral, she says. Everything, every wire transfer, every edited recording, every document. Let the entire city see exactly who he is. The baby makes a small sound from the bassinet. Present, breathing, alive. And Mama, call Kojo. Tell him to hold on just a little longer. Tell him it is almost over. The criminal referral is filed on a Friday morning, and it is 47 pages long. It names Mercer Duval in connection with witness tampering, financial fraud, defamation, evidence destruction, and coercive control within a marriage. It carries the certified forensic analysis of the altered photographs, the shell company server trace, the original hospital camera timestamp data, the full contents of the email draft folder, and 3 sworn statements from Donna the nurse, the overnight security supervisor, and a former member of Mercer's communications team who has been holding a recorded phone call for 8 months and chose this moment to release it. Nobody anticipated that last one, not Mercer, not his lawyers, not Priya Shen. The recording is 40 seconds long. It is Mercer's voice, 11 months before the hospital, before the fundraiser, before the escape, telling his communications director to find something inside Neria's medical history that could be used to have her declared mentally unfit. Before any of it happened, he was already preparing. He was never reacting to her. He was building a case against his own wife from the first year of their marriage. When that clip plays in the state attorney's office, the room goes quiet in the way rooms go quiet when something lands that cannot be walked back. Not the quiet of shock. The quiet of people realizing they are watching a man be fully seen for the first time. Mercer's lead attorney asks for a recess. 3 hours pass. When the legal team returns, Mercer is not with them. He calls Neria directly. No lawyers, no communications staff, just his voice coming through her phone at 9 p.m. and it sounds different from every version of it she has ever heard. Smaller, like something structural inside it has given way. She answers. She wants to hear this. She wants to know exactly what a man like Mercer Duval sounds like when there is nothing left to use. Neria, just her name, the same way he always said it, but the authority that used to sit behind it is gone. She says nothing. I want you to know, he stops, starts again. What I did, the way I treated you, another stop, a long breath. I did love you in the beginning. I need you to know that part was real. The apartment is quiet around her. The baby is asleep. I believe you, she says. She means it, not as forgiveness, not yet, maybe not for a long time, but as truth. Because the most painful version of this story is not that he never felt anything. It is that he felt something real and chose power over it, every single day. One quiet decision at a time, until the love was just a story he told himself and the control was the only thing left. That is exactly why it was so wrong, she says. You knew better, you looked at me and you knew better and you chose this anyway. She ends the call. She sits in the quiet for a long moment. Then she picks up her daughter and holds her and breathes and lets the silence be what it is, not empty, not painful. Just the sound of a life that is finally, fully hers. The call from the hospital board comes on a Monday morning. The HIPAA complaint against Kojo has been withdrawn. The state medical board case is dismissed. His access is reinstated effective immediately. The board's formal letter uses a phrase he reads twice, then a third time. Actions consistent with the highest standard of patient care. He is standing in his kitchen in yesterday's clothes. Coffee going cold on the counter. He reads the letter once, folds it carefully, and sets it on the table. Then he goes to work. He badges into the trauma wing. The reader flashes green. The hallway opens up in front of him and he walks it the same way he always has, steady, coat on, chart in hand. And at the far end, Donna looks up from the nurse's station and puts both hands over her mouth for just a second before she pulls herself together and nods at him. He nods back. No speech. No moment. He picks up the chart for the woman in Bay 3 who has been waiting since 6 a.m. and has not been seen yet, and he goes in because she needs a doctor, and he is here, and that has always been the entire point. The board notation stays in his file permanently, a small mark that will follow his career for as long as he practices medicine. He does not ask for it removed. Some costs are worth carrying. They tell you something true about the moment you decided who you were when it was not easy to be that person. 4 weeks later, Mercer Duval enters a plea agreement. The terms are sealed, but the consequences are not. 3 of his major development projects are frozen pending financial review. His political connections go quiet one by one. And his name is removed from the donor plaque near the hospital's main entrance, taken down without ceremony, without announcement, the same silent erasure he tried to use on everyone else. Except this time it is the right thing being erased. 3 months later, Neria stands at a podium on the south side of Chicago. Not a government building, not a press conference. A community center with folding chairs and bad overhead lighting and women who came on a Tuesday night after work and after picking up children and after managing every invisible thing that nobody puts on a calendar. Some have babies in their laps. Some came alone. Some are sitting in the back row with their arms crossed because they have heard too many speeches from too many people who have never once had to survive the things they are talking about. Neria looks at them. She does not open with her title. She does not mention her mother or Mercer or the hospital or the photographs or any of the things that made her a story people watched from a distance. She says, I know what it feels like to be in a room where everybody can see you and nobody sees what is actually happening to you. I know what it feels like to tell yourself it is not that bad. I know what it feels like to protect someone who is not protecting you. And I know what it feels like to finally stop. The room does not move. Staying silent to survive is not weakness, she says. It is what you do when you are in a situation that gave you no other option. But the moment you find your voice, even a broken one, even a whisper, even crawling through a door at the end of everything you had left, that moment is yours. Nobody can reach back in time and take it from you. In the front row, Imani Cole holds the baby against her chest. The baby makes a small sound. Soft. Ordinary. The sound of a child who has no idea yet how much it cost to bring her safely into this room. Neria smiles, just for a second, then she continues. She speaks for 22 minutes. She does not cry once. When she finishes, nobody moves. Then the woman in the back row, the one with her arms crossed, the one who came in like she dared this story to mean something to her, uncrosses them and starts to clap. Healing is not a single moment. It is a direction. It is choosing again and again to keep moving toward something better than what you survived. Neria is moving. Kojo is still in that hospital. Imani is still in office. The baby is still breathing. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Love should never ask you to disappear. And truth, no matter how long it is buried, always finds the room it was built for. Tell us right now in the comments, where in the world are you watching this from and what time is it there? We want to know. Which moment in this story stayed with you the longest? Was it Kojo refusing to walk away when every institution told him to? Was it Neria saying no to the settlement and choosing truth over safety? Or was it that woman in the back row finally uncrossing her arms? Tell us below. And if you believe that stories about real courage and real justice deserve to be heard, subscribe to this channel right now. Every story we tell is for the person sitting somewhere tonight who needs to know they are not alone in this. Dignity, once spoken out loud, cannot be silenced again.